It was a very eventful weekend for the Anaheim Ducks. Trevor Zegras scoring another Michigan goal, and then all heck broke loose. We have Jason Hernandez of Locked On Anaheim Ducks to talk about the controversy, the excitement, and all things Anaheim Ducks next on the Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to the Locked On NHL podcast. Gil Martin, glad to be with you here on the Monday edition, and thank you for making Locked On NHL your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Right now, it's my pleasure to welcome back to the show from Locked On Anaheim Ducks, Jason Hernandez. And Jason, to say it was an eventful weekend for the Ducks, maybe a little bit of an understatement. Especially the game against the Coyotes earlier this weekend. Let's start with the good stuff. Another impressive lacrosse-style goal for Trevor Zegras. Talk a little bit about that and where he's at in his development, because, you know, if you were to do the best goals of this season, he'd be a repeat. He'd make repeat appearances in that.
He has all three of the best goals this season. The lacrosse in Montreal, the lacrosse in Arizona, and the alley-oop, flying Z, whatever you want to call it, and everyone has a different name for it, that would be on top with Sonny Milano. So those three alone are worthy of the best goals of the year, in my opinion. He's going to get one of them. If he's not 1, 2, 3 on the best goals of the year on NHL Network, then something's wrong.
Unbelievable talent, unbelievable skill. Where is he, though, in his overall game? I mean, highlight reel goals are one thing. Is he learning what to do without the puck? Is he learning the other aspects of the game at this point?
I would say, because this is going to be a little controversial, because of Dallas Eakins, he's not as far as I would like him to be. Recently, Zegras was playing on a line with Sonny Milano and ... Derek Grant. Now, the thing about that, Trevor Zegras is trying to play center, right? And what's one thing that centers do on their line? They take faceoffs, right? And they play that center position. When you have a line with Milano and Derek Grant, who's also a center, and Dallas Eakins chooses to put Derek Grant in the faceoff circle and have Derek Grant play that center position, all of a sudden you're playing Zegras off wing, not his natural position that he's been trying to play almost all season. So that stunted his development a little bit. You know, still maybe not as much anymore, but as soon as 2.5 months ago, there were still times where he was getting benched for no good reason, which is why I think Zegras could be further along if there was someone else there, which there could be by this time next season, or really in a matter of a month.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to see, the future of the coaching staff there in Anaheim. And then, of course, later in the game, all heck breaks loose. And what happened? I mean, just for those of our listeners and viewers who didn't see it, what the heck happened?
Jay Beagle is a piece of you-know-what. I'm going to keep it PG here. So what happened was Trevor Zegras, he got involved in this. He was trying to poke at a loose puck, and Zegras was adamant in saying the puck was loose. And from one angle, yes, the puck was still loose. And here comes Jay Beagle, public enemy number one, cross-checking Zegras in the back. Zegras falls down. I mean, when you get cross-checked in the back like that on the numbers, you're going to fall. And then in comes Troy Terry to come to Zegras' defense, which is what a future captain, I'm saying this, what a future captain or assistant captain should be doing. And then what happens? Jay Beagle absolutely pummels the crap out of Troy Terry, who is a star in his own right. And, far be it for the NHL to protect their star players. What, Troy Terry isn't enough of a star player to you? Apparently not, because Jay Beagle sucker punched Troy Terry multiple times, leaving Troy Terry with a pretty gnarly facial injury. So that's what happened on the ice. Now, off the ice, that was a totally different thing. Zegras got interviewed after the game, and he said, quote, "You don't punch a guy when he's down, especially a 32 goal scorer in the NHL who is a superstar." He later went on to say, "It's humiliating, and pardon my French, I think he should be effing punished." That's what Zegras said. Was Jay Beagle punished? Nope, absolutely not. Jay Beagle got no disciplinary action whatsoever, nothing. So it's kind of a middle finger to some of those highly skilled players.
What can the league do? I mean, now they're not obviously not going to do anything in this incident, but you know, what can the league do, or do you think there was something that the players on the ice could have done differently to protect Troy Terry?
I don't know about the players on the ice because normally players should be policing themselves. And I mean, yes, you had Cam Fowler and Troy Terry come to the defense of Trevor Zegras, which is what you normally do. But then when you have Jay Beagle sucker punching, I don't know what else the players on the ice could do. This should come down to NHL player safety, trying to get stuff like that out of the league. And for them to give no punishment whatsoever, it's a bad look. And I could understand why Ducks fans would be super pissed off. And they have every right to be. They have every right to be pissed off because, we always ask who are some of the most skilled players in the league. And Trevor Zegras is up there. Troy Terry, he's climbing up there as far as skilled players. And one of our former colleagues, Nolan Bianchi, he put out a tweet, and that was the senseless commentary from the Arizona Coyotes, where this was said, quote, "That's the problem with these young players. You want to embarrass guys? You want to skill it up? You better be prepared to get punched in the mouth." No, you do not say that. If you want to skill it up, yeah, that's where the NHL should be. We should be showcasing the best skilled players in the league. And for you to say that, that's embarrassing. That's ridiculous. It should not have been said. Not at all. It's
Well,
an absolute joke. What was more of a joke was the Arizona Coyotes. They're a joke in several ways. If Trevor Zegras and Troy Terry are embarrassing the you know what out of you, that's a team problem. You get outscored 5-0 in that fashion. And if you don't like the Michigan, guard him. Don't lose him behind the net. Maybe do some kind of back checking. Don't just illegally get the guy in the back because he skilled it up. That's wrong.
yeah, it's a tough one, and I looked at the schedule. The Coyotes do not face the Ducks again this season, which may be a good thing for the game of hockey, all things considered. I mean, obviously, on Sunday, the Ducks didn't seem to have a lot in the tank. Maybe this incident on Friday took something out of their sails. They lose to Edmonton 6-1. You talked about the coaching staff. How likely is it that we see a change in the head coaching ranks in Anaheim at the end of the season?
Considering there was a survey out on The Athletic about who the coach should be next season, and I know a lot of fans are already looking ahead at to who's going to be the next coach. I've literally got like a list here. Like I got like post-it notes about who should be the next coach. I've been doing my homework already. Yes, I know there's 11 games left in the Dallas Eakins era, but I'm already looking at candidates for the next coach. So I would say the likelihood of him coming back are slim to none, and Slim is leaving the building.
Oh boy. Well, I'm sure it's going to be an interesting stretch drive as far as Dallas Eakins is concerned and Trevor Zegras. Jason, why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers where they can find the podcast and where they can find you on social media? And it's always interesting what you post on social media.
Woo, lately especially. So
Yes.
my personal Twitter is at StimpyJD, which is not hockey today because I'm angry. And I'm also angry a little bit on the Locked On Ducks Twitter, which is at LO_Ducks, where I have a ton more thoughts on what happened on Friday. And even more so, I have a lot more thoughts on Tyson Nash and him doubling down on what he said. So I'll definitely sound off on Monday's episode of Locked on Anaheim Ducks, which can be found wherever podcasts are found.
All right, Jason, thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully next time it'll be under better circumstances.
Yeah. Curse you, NHL player safety.